Hello, this is Matt Dixon with Science Digital Graphics Magazine. I'm here at the NBM show in Denver, and I'm joined today by Daryl Foreman, 38-year veteran of the sign lighting industry. Daryl, thanks for joining me today. Welcome to Denver. In your 38 years, you've seen us go from through a lot of different lighting sources, and you're currently now with Principal LED. Talk to me about the LED market and how it's grown over the last 15 years.
Well, 15 years ago, we were competing directly with neon. And at that time, you had the price of neon here and the price of LEDs way up here. And we were selling LEDs at that time in the $12 to $15 a foot range. And over time, as the LEDs have improved, the demand has increased substantially, not just in our industry, but in the cell phones and the televisions, and the LED manufacturers have improved their products, but they've also brought the price down substantially. And so in the LED world, when we say new and improved, we're talking about less expensive. We're not talking about a more expensive product. And so over time, that price range has done this, where now most sign companies are actually charging more for neon than they are for an LED sign, simply because there aren't the experts out there bending the neon anymore. And those that are installing it and those that are putting it in the signs really don't have the experience to do it coming in. So with LEDs, like I said, you've seen a substantial decrease in price over the last 15 years. We were talking earlier, I was telling you that 15 years ago, price of $12 to $15 was no problem. That's what we sold it for. Today we're in the $1 to $3 range for a product that's every bit as good, if not better, than what we had just a few years ago.
The diversity of LEDs is really getting large. There is an LED for every reason. What should people be looking for when they're searching for the perfect LED for their sign or their project? Well,
at Principal LED, we don't believe that one size fits all. In the sign industry, we're very custom oriented. And when LEDs first came out, we were trying to replace neon. So the beam angle and everything that we were trying to do with LEDs was to fit where neon would fit. And that's in a 5-inch deep, 5-inch stroke letter. And so the beam angle was 120 degrees so that we could get light to the face at 5 inches. Well, over time, we've moved from a direct beam angle with optic lenses. And so now in an LED, what you want to look for is lumens per foot, the efficiency of that product, how many lumens you can actually get out of the wattage that you're trying to achieve, beam angle, because now you're able to take a brighter product, say 150 lumens, and spread it out at 170 degree beam angle. So instead of 2 rows that you would need just 5 years ago, now you could do that with 1 row of product at half the price or less. So color is another important issue. In the sign industry, going from 2700 Kelvin in the white spectrum all the way up to 9000 is easy for LEDs to do. Where with neon, everybody was settled on 6500 white back in the old days, and I hate to say it that way, but so when LEDs first came out, we tried to emulate that 6500 white. But we found that the industry has changed, and now 4100 is very prevalent, 5000 is very prevalent, 7000, 9000. So we have to have a wider variety of Kelvin ratings available to the sign market.
Lumens are obviously a big deal, but it seems like we've kind of hit peak brightness. I don't know how much farther we can go before it's just blinding people. What should people be looking for as far as the perfect amount of light for their signs?
Well, the perfect amount of light that they need is actually not at the light source, not at the LED, it's how much light you want at the face. And that's measured in lux, not in lumens. And so you want a certain amount of lux at the face. You could take a 150 lumen light source, and if you put it at 3 inches from the face, and took a reading of the lux with a lux meter, you're going to get a certain reading. If you took that same light source at 150 lumens per foot Now at a 5-inch or 8-inch, at 5-inch you lose half your light output at the face. And at 8 inches, you're losing another half of that. And so the light source lumen output depends on how far away from the face and the substrate that you're going to be using. So I jokingly tell people when I'm on a sales call that there's only 3,498 different variables we have to be concerned with when we're trying to decide the correct lumen output and the correct module. You may need more light to the face, so you would pick a certain module for that. You may need it to spread out faster if you're going at 2 inches deep. So you could still go with 150 lumens, but you need something that's going to spread that light faster. And so a lot of different considerations.
So what's next for the LED market? Obviously you've got the more efficient, more cost efficient as well, and brighter always, but what is the next big technology leap for the LED market?
You know, I'm not sure, to tell you the truth, and I'm just being honest. LEDs continue to improve in quality. And again, it's not, unfortunately, not our industry. We're not large enough to drive that LED market. They continue to come out with products that's brighter, with better beam angles, better technology. So we're probably looking at LEDs in the future that will be adjustable by maybe an app on your phone, where you could increase the brightness or decrease the brightness depending on the ambient light around you, whether it was daylight or dark or dusk, and be able to program that LED in. Also be able to control that type of technology from a distance, so that you could be sitting in Chicago and you could dial in what you wanted your stores in California to look like as far as the light output at any given time. So the LEDs themselves are going to be improving, but the technology to control what you do with them is really where we're heading.
One last thing I'd like to ask you here. As far as companies that are using LEDs quite a bit, what's some advice you can give them to make sure that that product lasts as long as possible and doesn't need to be replaced in the field as often?
There are some, just like in any aspect of our industry, there are some good quality companies out there that build good quality LEDs. And LEDs don't fail catastrophically like a fluorescent lamp or an incandescent lamp or neon. They just gradually fade away. And it's so gradual that you don't see it with the naked eye from time to time. And so my advice would be use a good reputable company that engineers their own products and doesn't just buy and resell product, that has their own research and development group. And don't overload. Don't overload the product. If it's designed for 50 feet to run on a 60-watt power supply, don't try to push 52 or 53. Be cognizant of that. Look for products that have gone through third-party testing. All of the major brands, we do send our product out to different laboratories to do third-party testing to get LM79 and LM80 testing done. And that's important. What does that testing show you? Not what their marketing team tells you, but what does the third-party testing show?
Daryl, thank you very much for your time today. This is Matt Dixon at the NBM show in Denver. Thanks for joining us.